So I'm here today and I'm going to show you how to make a coffee with the Kelly Kettle. And I've got the 1.2 litre version, which I believe is called the Scout or the Explorer or the something like that, the Pathfinder, insert adventure word here. And it's one of my favourite bits of kit. I got it for Christmas from my folks, thanks parents. And it's been on loads of little adventures, mainly just me coming out into the woods just to make a cup of coffee. And I'm going to show you how to use it. And I've also got with me my AeroPress with some lovely light roasted pre-ground beans. I've already put them in there just for transport. And I've got my Clean Canteen wide mouth 1182 ml, 40 ounces if you're in America. And then I've got this lovely little cup, which is one of my own designs, which you can buy on my shop. I'll put the link there or there, depending on where you're watching. And yeah, we're going to fire this kettle up and make some hot water, which I'll, through the process of alchemy, I will turn into coffee, and I will drink it sitting next to this lovely here river. So first things first, dry sticks. Now you'll find dry sticks if you're you will find dry sticks in a dry stick store near you, and you can tell they're dry because they make a good snapping sound. And what just happened there was I snapped it, and rather than snapping into 2 pieces, it snapped into 3 pieces. That's when you know it's really dry. Also, as they lose liquid, they get lighter. So that's another thing, but the snap test is the one. Now for the Kelly Kettle, you want to be getting them small enough so that they fit in here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to do my classic build. I'm basically going to build a sort of kind of like a Jenga, but I'm going to keep the middle clear. Actually, I'm going to do it live, and I'm going to light this one with, I've been collecting some little bits of tinder. So I've got some birch bark here. Birch bark's great because it can get wet and it still takes a light really easy. And in addition to the birch bark, I've collected a little bit of resin from a Douglas fir. It was kind of, sometimes you see a pine tree or a fir tree or a conifer, and it looks like it's kind of crying with resin. And now you can harvest that oh Jesus, it's just a bumblebee. And it's super sticky stuff. Also smells really good. And that combined with this birch sap is going to basically create a homemade firelighter. And I'm storing it in this adventure grade dog poo bag, which is an important part of anyone's kit if you have a dog. I don't have a dog, but I'm a serial dog borrower and aspiring dog owner one day when the time is right. So I've got the mix of sap and birch bark there. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little method that I've kind of come up with. Oh God, it's really sticky, the pine sap or fir sap. And I'm going to show you a method which is, I don't know, it's kind of sort of made it up, as in I hadn't seen anyone doing it, but it's basically a method of building a fire with where you put your firelighter in first. So you can see that the birch bark just takes instantly. So what I'm doing is I'm lighting it, and that's lit. And what I'm going to do is build the fire around it, keeping the integrity of the flame. So basically I'm building a ladder for the fire to go up, kind of crisscrossing like a square, keeping the flame in the middle. And what that'll do is allow I'm basically building a, just move that over onto the deer path here, and it'll allow basically builds like a ladder for the frame to climb up. That one's slightly less dry, so I'm not going to use that one yet. So you can use a bit wet wood, but dry is best for it. Just goes up a lot faster. This collected on the way. That's not quite as dry as this, which looks like a little bit of, I think, elder, but I'm willing to be wrong. Oh yeah, that's a good dry bit there. The break into 3. So yeah, live building. And as a general rule, I like to build these up so that they're taller than they are wide, and that allows you, flames, as you notice, they kind of go up, and you want to place things in the way of the flames. I should have cleared all this grass first, but you know, when you're making a video, you're kind of slightly not quite as tuned in as you would be otherwise. I'll just nudge it over a little bit. But that fire seems to be going pretty well. So I've got the fire going, and next step is going to be, let's get the water on. So the thing I really like about this new water bottle that I've got, this Clean Canteen wide mouth 40 ounce, is that it takes pretty much exactly the same amount of water as the Kelly Kettle. This is a 1.2 litre Kelly Kettle, and this is a 1182 water bottle. So a match made in heaven, I'd say. So that's brewing away. That fire is going quite nicely, and I'm going to put this chimney on. So I've purposely kept the twigs kind of small so that this is going to fit on without too much trouble. And as you can see, that's already cranking. I could have burnt my hand there if I was slightly less careful, but as you can see, I'm very careful. Even enough for a little swig. And that's finished. You can already hear this kettle whistling away. Fire's going really nicely. That firelighter worked so well. I'm definitely going to be getting, I think getting some kind of resin from pine is a real wonderful free fire starter. I have done it, I've done it with the ones that you actually buy from the shop, but they are full of funny smelling things. And yeah, I guess the pine resin ones are also full of funny smelling things, but at least they're natural, and you can mix it with the birch bark, or you can just do the pine sap by itself, or even there's some bulrushes over here, which you can take the dried heads of them and mix that in with the pine resin. And it's just a really nice way of making a natural fire starter that you can keep in your pocket, or in your, I'll maybe keep them in the Kelly Kettle bag. And it means that in inclement weather, you're not trying to look for dry tinder, on a super wet day. You're not trying to forage around looking for something, and you've just got it there ready. There's a certain sort of smug joy that comes with having something that you've collected yourself, something really beautiful. And as you can see, something really beautiful about being smug. I highly recommend it. So yeah, as you can see, the fire's going, and I'm just dropping twigs in here, and I will do until this thing here, this stopper, which you keep in, it will eventually, it's got a whistler in it. The old one just used to have a cork, and I think they would maybe like pop off and when the pressure gets too much. But these This one whistles, which is rather nice. And there's always a sort of hurry to get it going and get it to boiling point. But then I find when it finally gets to boiling point, there's a sort of, I find, a slight anticlimax, because, or maybe not an anticlimax, but a sadness that you've reached that point, because the making and of the fire and the brewing of the, you know, the getting the wood together and getting it all going and making sure your fire is lit, and, you know, often there's a lot of blowing that goes in if you're using slightly wet wood. And actually, I would say that although you really want it to sort of get there quickly, it's really sad when it does, because you then, you know, it's over. But yeah, this is fire's brewing quite nicely. Just dropping the odd stick in here and there just to keep it going. We've got a nice bed of little coals there and some good flames going. It's not too, you know, it's not going too crazy, and that's kind of what we want. So probably ready to get my AeroPress set up and the mug. And I think I even, this time I brought a teaspoon. I normally do. Did you hear that? That's the 12:05 from Inverness to Wick. Just train hurtling past in the distance. But yeah, I brought a spoon with me today. Now this is a classic stainless steel spoon. You'll find one anyway. Sorry. Yeah, basically just a classic teaspoon. It's a monogram, stainless, from Korea. Cool. Wonderful little design on it. And I'm going to use that to stir the coffee. So get this ready. Basically pull it back like that. I've already got coffee inside it, and I've got a metal filter in there. Pop that down. Ooh, saw a butterfly go past. Some good noises coming from there. Right, maybe I could smell that smoke. I certainly can. The old proverb of something, paraphrase, etc. Smoke, doesn't matter where you are, the smoke always follows you. And that's that. So it's nearly there. You can kind of hear it burbling away. Look at that flame licking up. Oh, God, it's good. Something I just love about fire. Primal thing of staring into it while watching telly. It's coming up to, oh yeah, there we go. There's the whistle right there. So to take this off, spin it around and pick it up with both hands like this. What I might do is just move it over slightly. Whew. There we go. I'm just going to poke down the fire a little bit. Poke down the fire a little bit so that it's less of a hazard. Also, next time I do this, I did think about this before I came, but next time I do this, I'm going to find some stones to put it on because it does slightly scorch the earth, and it's better just to leave as little trace as possible. I mean, a bit of scorch earth here and there is fine, but also, and I will use the excess water to make sure that, you know, there's not going to be any tracing fire, but it is something to think about, you know, making sure that you leave better trace than you find. So here it is, Kelly Kettle. Yeah, pick it up with that, because if you pick it up like that over the flame, you can get a slightly singed. Actually, I've already I have not quite singed, but recolored my fingertips. So let's take the whistling plug out, and whoops, I'm hoping this is going to stand up. I'll grab it quickly, because that would be disaster if I'd knocked over my AeroPress full of coffee. So the AeroPress, really good for making coffee for one person. Any more than one person, and it's just giant faff. But I love the ritual of filling up, and it's actually, I've only just thought about this now, but it basically is a gigantic syringe, and as a caffeine addict, you are filling up your syringe. So there's something, I don't know, slightly train-spotting about it, which is, I don't know, is that good or bad? But we're basically dealing with the syringe and the drug therein, which is caffeine. Delicious caffeine. Helps us function. So I filled that up, stir that up, and so I've got a metal filter in this one, which is just more robust than the paper ones. And fill it up, give it a little stir. For you coffee nerds, I've got a Ethiopian light roast in there. That's it. Plunge it down. There we have a lovely cup of black coffee. And if you don't take your coffee black yet, I encourage you to take the plunge. It might be a week of gripe and, oh, this is not quite as good as my flat white, but after a while you just kind of get to a point where you're like, oh. Also, I've noticed, I don't know, I always looked at people who drank black coffee and thought, oh, they're grown-ups, and now I too am a grown-up, and yeah, I don't take my coffee with milk and 2 sugars anymore. Well, I do still like a little flat white with or a cortado with a sugar in it. Anyway, hope you're having a good day wherever you are. I am having a lovely day here. I think I'm gonna get the old binoculars out and see if I haven't scared off every last bird in sight. Maybe do a little bit of bird watching, see what's around. Cheers. Take the lens caps off, eh?